sorry. Good. Sorry about that. Thank you.
All right. Welcome to the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education meeting. Today is March 18th, 2024. All regular meetings have been posted on our district website, in our central office, and in each district school building. Tonight's agenda has been posted on our website and emailed out to the BCS Board of Education Community subscription. Our board members received this agenda and all supporting documents for reports and action items several days prior to this meeting, so they can review information, prepare questions or comments, and are ready to participate fully in the discussions and votes that encompass the duties of their office. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not considered a public community meeting. The Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters as indicated during the public comment portion of the agenda. We request each interested participant turn in and complete a public comment card to ensure responses can be appropriately addressed. Don't think we've gotten any of those yet, but okay. We will go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you all for coming. We will go ahead and start with our roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Here.
Ms. Brackett.
Here.
Ms. Rader.
Here.
Ms. Lush here. Dr. Carlin.
Here.
Ms. Berry.
Here.
And Dr. Burnett is absent.
First up, we have the adoption of the agenda.
I move the agenda for the board meeting of March 18th, 2024 be adopted as written with the addition of F6 under Points of Pride, Superintendent Patricia Robinson.
Support.
Okay, great. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Rader.
Yes.
Ms. Lush, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
And Ms. Berry.
Yes. All right, first up, we have, this is our Points of Pride section, so thank you all for being here and part of the meeting today, and bear with me because this is my first time running the meeting, so it will be clunky, I'll promise that.
You're doing well.
First up for our Points of Pride, Mrs. Robinson.
Yes, welcome everyone. We are so excited that this is a day of celebration pretty much within our district. So first off, we have Mrs. Erin Cracky, who received the 2024 McCall Innovative Teacher Award. She is here along with her principal, Mrs. Beasley. If you guys would like to come up to the podium. Mrs. Cracky actually celebrated getting the award at the state conference in last week in Grand Rapids. You can come on up. And Mrs. Beasley, if you want to join her, but I'd like you to just have some words about this award and kind of like, what were some of the, tell us some of the things that you do in your classroom that develop this whole innovative kind of perspective and what you do.
Well, I think a lot of it started back when I was here at the high school. I've been doing McCall for like 12 years, always trying to find things that connect kids to help in their classroom. But last year I joined a group called the Betty, as the Berrien Ed Tech Innovators, and that has really helped kind of transform some of my teaching because I just learned so much about what Berrien RISA has to offer. And so a lot of the really innovative stuff that has come has because I learned that I could just rent material from Berrien RISA. So like the Spheros and the VR headsets came from there, and I just kind of worked my way through and tried to find ways to connect for the kids. Like the VR headsets for the 6th graders, they get to explore Antarctica and Machu Picchu because National Geographic has an experience. I literally feel like I've been to Antarctica. It's so cool. And then they do a whole presentation on it. They have to do some research. So it just all kind of intertwines. So I don't know, but the Betty group has been super awesome, and then the support of my principal, she just kind of like lets me go wild. In a good way.
Thank you, thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Mrs. Beasley, too, for allowing her that academic freedom. And if you'd like to have just a couple of words about.
So, at the middle school, we are extremely proud and not surprised to find out that Mrs. Cracky won this amazing award over like pretty much all of the teachers in McCall, which I think is 33,000?
33 plus. I don't know
33,000
exactly
plus, and she is the innovative teacher of the year. So the only one. It's not like it's a like group of honorees. She is it, and it's like I said, no surprise. You have never seen joy like we've seen out of the students in her room when they're using those VR headsets. I know she talked about 6th grade is going to be doing some exploring using National Geographic, and our 7th grade earlier this year got to do some career cruising type activities. And I will never forget, somebody was a culinary person. I don't think I touched anything. Culinary person, and was making a burrito, and it was too spicy in the hallway, and he was going, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, it's so spicy, let me get it." And he's talking to himself, but he's got this VR headset on, and it's just really great because they were able to explore careers. And we really are having students produce products using technology like we've never had before. She's partnering with our ELA department to help do the research end of their reports, and then they can do the actual writing part of the reports. So she's really, truly, like, this is well-deserved. And so it's absolutely perfect for her.
Thank you. In addition, you're part of a fellowship,
Oh,
right,
yes.
currently? Yeah, you're doing a
So
big project.
I also am doing a PBS fellowship. That's a lot. It was a little bit more than I realized, but Monica, Luke, and I actually are doing it jointly. And so the kids are making documentaries for PBS, like they are going to PBS. So some of you may be getting emails if you have anything to do with the school farm, because it's something iconic in our area. And since we're one of only a few schools that has a school farm, I remember when I came here like 14 years ago, they're like, "Oh, we're going to the school farm." I said, "You said what?" Like, I was real confused. And so we're gonna just toddle right on over to the farm, and we're gonna get some B-roll. Through the fellowship, my students get the free access to the premium version of WE Video. So they're gonna do video editing. We've got some production like stuff that we got from PBS. So we went over there to Lansing on February 7th, and they gave us like $500 worth of equipment. And so we have 40 kids that we're doing with our advisory class between Miss Luke and myself. And we kind of wrangle 40 kids, and we have 9 or 10 subjects of the school farm that we're doing. And they're going to have to interview people. We have like little microphones and lights and camera and action and all the things. And so that will be going through, hopefully we'll be done mid-May, early May. But yeah, the kids are pretty excited about it, and we have some who are like, "I'm gonna video edit." Like, I have 6th graders who are like, "What's all this stuff you have over here?" And I said, "Oh, that's my advisory." "Can I get in your advisory next year? I wanna do that." So yeah, the PBS fellowship's really cool, and the Learning Channel has a virtual contest happening right now. And Miss Luke and I are like one of the week's like spokesperson. We did that when we were in Lansing too. So we're like, "Hi, we're Miss Cracky, and we're whatever the challenge was." And so we had to do some on-camera action to kind of feel what the kids are going to feel, but it's like live. It's out there for people, and so you may see that come across your news feed soon of us in the Michigan Learning Channel. So the PBS fellowship's pretty cool, and lots of awesome like learning growth opportunities for that too.
Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations.
No
Right.
surprise at all.
Yeah. Very cool.
Thank you.
All right, next up, I think we have some champions here, or some Olympians here. So if we could have is somebody gonna come up and speak about the
Yes.
Science Olympiad team?
And Chris has something.
Oh, and Chris has something to add too.
Yeah, so the Science Olympiad team competed a week ago Friday, and I had the great experience of spending a half day with them. And Mr. Brinks and Mr. Cribley, the 2 Science Olympiad advisors at the high school, were generous enough with their time when they had downtime to kind of talk to me about what was going on. And there was a lot of things going on that I had no idea went on at Science Olympiad. And some of the students here that took first place are going to talk to us about it, hopefully what they did as well, because some of them are tests. And so there was 13 high school teammates, and there's a max of 15, so we almost have a full team. There was 10, they say middle school, but it's actually 8th and 9th grade that competed, and the kids were great in the afternoon. I got to see a few of the build events and what was going on. They represented themselves, their teammate, their advisors, and the whole school system in an excellent manner. And so we want to recognize them today and hear from Mr. Cribley and some of those students about their experience there.
Yeah, well, hi, I'm Byron Cribley, and I'm one of the coaches for the Science Olympiad team. Tom Brinks is the coach. And really just hats off to the kids. They did tremendous this year. A little bit about Science Olympiad is there's 3 different divisions, which Division A is an elementary branch, and kids would go and compete in that class. And then, our middle school group is our 8th and 9th graders, and then we have the 13 out of 15 that make up our high school team. And so each Science Olympiad competition, they have different hybrids, where some of them are either tests that the kids will prepare for, just based on topics of science that they're interested in. So it's awesome to be able to take some of those students who we feel really have a direction to go in science and kind of foster and really grow those hopes of aspiration that those kids do continue in science. And so when they pick a topic that they love and they can really embrace it and get into it. Some of the kids do build events, and so they're at home working with their family members or just out back, building things. And they could be catapult launches or ping pong parachutes or towers and bridges. And so, you see those sparks of, we might have some engineers here coming out of Buchanan. And so with Mr. Brinks and I running our science and math sections, we're really excited to help those kids here at school. But the competition itself, we had 19 of our 23 kids won a medal, which is outstanding. And to see them, the joy that they get out of competing and winning is just unmatched. And, the kids coming down on the awards was just really awesome. And, of those, we had 14 kids take a second place medal, and we had 19 first places, which is the most that we've had in any school year that I've ever been, which has been 15 years back when Mr. Holloway was continuing the program. So it was an outstanding accomplishment. So a shout out to our first place winners, made up of Lillian Wegner. We had Emily Hassey, Madeline Tibbles, Natalie Tibbles, Jackson Painter, and Caitlin Kern. Those are all 6 of our freshmen. And so all 6 of our 9th grade kids were able to go in and win their event. So I'm optimistic for the future to see what more that they can do and stick with. And then in our C division, Avery Scanlon and McKenna Chatterton, Zoe Loonsfoot, Robert Hurst, and Geneva Tabor. So those were our state qualifiers. Science Olympiad has that if you win your event at regional, you get an automatic opportunity to compete at state. So we're going to be taking 11 Buchanan High School kids to go compete at Michigan State's state event, and this is actually being held at Western on May 5th. So it's really awesome. So congratulations to all of the kids. You guys did awesome. So I'm going to turn it over to Geneva Tabor. She's one of our seniors here this evening. So come on down, Geneva.
Hello, board. It's so nice to see you guys. Hello. We're going to be talking about Science Olympiad today. My name is Geneva Tabor. Cribley already told you I'm a senior. This is my 3rd year participating in Science Olympiad, and I'm so thankful to have gotten into state with my partner, Zoe. She is not here today. We competed in optics, and it was truly amazing. It was just basically like the refraction of light, and there's a lot of more math that goes into it than you would think, just to be honest. And I would like to share with you guys the future of Science Olympiad. So I'm going to present you guys our up and coming. So we're going to start off with Jackson today.
Hello, my name is Jackson. I am one of the many members of the Science Olympiad team. In my topic, roller coaster, the objective is to get a marble from point A to point B in a certain time frame. You get bonus points for tricks it does along the way. When you get to the competition, they will give you a target time for the marble to complete the coaster. We have 8 minutes to make adjustments and to get the 2 official runs completed. My partner Maddie and I went to the regionals this month and we placed first out of many teams that completed in the same topic. In May, Maddie and I will be going to compete at the state level at Western Michigan University. This is a fun experience that allows creativity, teamwork, and exploration of gravitational potential energy. I feel like this program is a good fit for many students that attend this school. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Emily.
Listen to that hardware.
Hello, my name is Emily Hassey, and this is my second year of Science Olympiad.
My name is Lillian Wagner, and this is also my second year of Science Olympiad. Emily and I have been partners for 2 years. We both decided to stay in Science Olympiad because of the fun we had at state and regional competitions last year. Originally, we were honestly unsure if we wanted to stay in it for sure, but after attending state and regional, we really enjoyed the support that everyone on the team provided and how many new friends it gave us. We will most likely continue to stay in Science Olympiad throughout all years of high school.
In 8th grade, a group of people from the team came into our science class to explain what Science Olympiad was. We thought that it sounded pretty fun, so we decided that we should try it. Over the 2 years we have been in Science Olympiad, we have qualified for state in multiple events. One of these includes Fast Facts, which we are 2-time regional champs in.
Fast Facts is an event where you're given 5 categories and 5 letters in a grid formation. You then have to fill in words for each category and letter. For example, a category could be human bones, and you would be given the letters L, S, T, and V. And then you would have to think of a human bone that started with those letters. Both years we've gotten first at regionals for this event, and the next event we qualified for state for is Disease Detective.
Disease Detective is centered around the study of epidemics and disease control and prevention. In this event, we are allowed 1 sheet of paper full of information. To prepare for this event, we studied past epidemics, how to classify an outbreak, and disease control and prevention. This is our first year competing in this event, and we were lucky enough to place first in it, qualifying us for state. The next one we competed in was meteorology.
Meteorology is just what it sounds like. It's a study of weather patterns. We were allowed a 3-ring binder full of information. We made approximately 45 pages of information about meteorology and what it consists of. This was one of the events we walked in and out of very confidently. This event was formatted as a multiple choice and written test. This was our first time competing in this event, and we also got first in this event. We qualified for state in this event because of that. Some of the things that the test covered were severe weather, precipitation, cloud formation, and more. The next event we competed in was ecology.
Ecology is the study of the environment and how it works. This event focuses on food chains and animal relationships. This event we were also allowed 1 sheet of paper full of information. This is another event we also went in pretty confident because we're in honors biology, which has a lot of ecology in it. Shout out to Mrs. Frost for teaching us a lot about ecology. In the ecology event, it was a multiple choice test about trophic pyramids and how species interact with each other. In this event, we also got first in. This qualified us for state as our 4th event.
This year, Emily and I managed to break the record of most first place regional wins. We won all 4 of our events, and on May 4th, we'll be attending the state to compete in all of these events. We are very excited to have the opportunity to compete in these events at the state level.
Thank you.
Good job.
And then following that will be Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie. Sorry, I didn't bring anything. I wasn't able to prepare, but this was my first year in Science Olympiad. I was hesitant to join because I haven't done anything like this before, but I'm really glad I did. Me and my partner, Caitlin, who isn't here with me today, we qualified for state in micromission. So basically what micromission is, it's like a written test where you have to answer questions about like parts of a cell, different environments, and like just life, I guess. And it was very fun. We didn't qualify for state in all 4 events we did, but it was still fun to try something new and to like learn as you go. It's definitely something that people should join. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you guys for listening today, and most importantly, I would like to thank my advisors, Cribley and Brinks. It wouldn't be a club, or I don't even think it is a club, without them, because, man, we do need help, but thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I like you guys' shirts too. Those are awesome. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we'd like to have the board take a picture with all of the students, if you can come down, as well as their coaches and their principal. If you guys can come down so we can take a quick shot of you, maybe over in the corner area. And then, once you're finished, you're free to leave. You don't have to stay for the, the whole meeting. Okay. 6:22. We'll be. You guys are stars, so you can be front row. You want back row? Okay. Right here. Yeah. Just switch them. All right. Here we go. All right. There we go.
You can lay her in front.
You're fine. Can we have the board stay up there so we can get a picture with Aaron? Yeah. Oh, yes. Mrs. Beasley? Beasley? We'll go.
You're the star, not me. Coming in like I love you.
Congratulations.
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Hey, I just wanted to say, as Mr. Cribley's leaving,
Paleontology because of the buck, and it's all the buck bones.
I just wanted to say, on behalf of everybody, I know we kind of said congrats and thanks in general, but Mr. Cribley and Mr. Brinks, thank you for all your time putting into that event. It's obvious that the students, it meant a lot to them, so, and not just about the medals. So, thank you guys.
Congratulations. All right, we have a couple more points of pride. So our Buck Staff Appreciation March winner.
Are we back on? It doesn't sound as
Oh.
well. But did he turn it down? Okay, just checking. A little closer, maybe. Sorry.
Do you want to?
Yes, I can go. Sorry.
Okay, perfect.
So every month we recognize, and I have them here, but I took them off, sorry. So the March, we have Brian Bennett, Buchanan High School science teacher. We have Amanda Horton, Buchanan High School kitchen manager. Annabelle Cole-Glazer, Moccasin Cook's Help, Becky Day, Ottawa paraprofessional, BJ Scott, Buchanan Middle School lunch aide, Dawn Van Dyke, Ottawa special education teacher, Emma Karpinski, Ottawa lunch aide, Jean Warner, Buchanan High School substitute, Grace Karpinski, Ottawa lunch aide, Ryan Franzak, Buchanan Middle School Dean of Students, and Tom Brinks, Buchanan High School math teacher. And this month's winner was Brian Bennett for Buchanan High School science teacher. And let me read his recognition. Sorry, all this flipping. Mr. Bennett is in his first year here at Buchanan, but it feels like he has been here for quite some time. In his short time here, he has had a huge impact on the students and staff at Buchanan High School. In the classroom, he has shown his students his passion for science through his lessons, talks, and interactions. He has formed positive bonds and relationships with the students that don't always happen this quickly with new staff. To go along with his impact on our students in the classroom, he has also impacted staff through his previous experiences and knowledge. Brian has been able to share his knowledge at staff meetings, team meetings, etc. I truly appreciate his effort in helping continue in our growth as a team. Oh wait, there's more. Brian has also helped in adding 2 new classes to the science options for next year, an advanced chem class and a computer science class. His willingness to continue to provide options for our students does not go unnoticed. In the end, I just want to give Mr. Bennett a thank you for all he has done for Buchanan High School this year. On behalf of the Board of Education and Administration of Buchanan Community Schools, we thank you for your service and encourage you to keep up the great level of achievement and service to our district. Congratulations. That's you. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Lots of positive things in the math and science departments.
Yeah.
Thank you all. All right, and now we are on to F6, recognition for Superintendent Patricia Robinson was recognized at the Speaking Up with Women event on March 8th. And a few of us were able to attend the event. It was a really nice event and a really nice recognition, so I don't know if anybody else had anything to add.
It was a wonderful event. There were many great speakers at that event, great performances, some food, some great things from that. It was actually 3 colleges, I think, that worked to put it on, Lake Michigan College, Southwestern Michigan College, and Andrews University. So it was a really nice event, some wonderful, positive, uplifting stories that were great about the community and about empowering women in our area. And of course, we are extremely proud of Mrs. Robinson and the ways that she contributes not only to this community, but to the community and the region as a whole. So we're very proud of her.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tricia. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And there was a press release out about most of these things tonight, so hopefully everybody's had the opportunity, but I believe they're all on the website too, so if anybody wants to read all of the details.
They're on the page.
All right, great. Anything else in the fun department, or are we just gonna stay here all night? All right. We will move on to item G, which is superintendent and department reports.
Yes, and the reports are in your packets, and each month our building principals and department leads put together an informational summary of what has gone on the previous month. So all of those are included in your packets.
All right, and then next up, we have our presentation, which is Mr. Babcock with Moccasin.
Time for the serious portion.
That's right, that's right.
I don't think this is going. Oh, I think I'm
Can you
getting
tighten
worse.
it? Yeah, there you go.
I think Phil was going to put on a
Slide.
presentation up there, but there it goes. All right. Just testing it out. All right. President Burnett, Mrs. Robinson, members of the board, thank you for giving me the opportunity to showcase some positive things that are happening at Moccasin Elementary School. At Moccasin, we are dedicated to creating a safe and positive learning environment where students will achieve grade level skills. And over the next 5 or 10 minutes, we will highlight how we are doing this specifically through our MTSS process. MTSS is something that we've been working really hard on over the past couple of years, and we feel we're at a point where we're making significant positive impacts for students through this process. So simply, we have a definition up here. MTSS is a framework that helps educators provide academic and behavior strategies for students with various needs. And I also want to highlight some things that are in the Buchanan strategic plan that support what we're doing here. So one of the strategic goal statements is Buchanan Community Schools will increase student achievement and interest for all students through engaging and inclusive curriculum programming. And one of the priority objectives is increase resources and develop plans for students with identified physical, social, emotional, behavioral, and mental health needs through collaboration with community partners utilizing systems such as MTSS. And today, I kind of want to highlight one of the things specifically in that plan is the way we at Moccasin are developing plans for students who need support with academic and behavior needs. So what does it look like? What does the MTSS process look like at Moccasin? First, a staff member will identify a student with a behavior or academic concern. They will fill out a form. That form will come to me, and then at the next available Thursday, we will put that student on the agenda, and we'll meet with about that student for approximately 45 minutes. What do we discuss during that meeting? A ton of data, okay? Data will drive our decision making, specifically NWEA data, PSI data, DIBELS data, classroom data, and that can be grades, for example, informal teacher observations. What else are we looking at? Historical context. If it's a second grade student, we look in their file at how things went for them at Ottawa. What medications might they be on, social interactions, things like that. We also talk a lot about strengths and weaknesses. Does the student have a stronger background in math? Is it reading or writing? We also talk a lot about successes. What has worked in the past? What is working in the current classroom setting? What are students' interests? Is the student interested in sports? What cartoons? Just things like that. Who are the students' friends? That can be an important thing too when looking at peer mentors. Also, what interventions have been used in the classroom by the teacher? The teacher brought the student to us for a reason. What things have they implemented in the classroom that is currently working or not working? So what's next once we go through this meeting? At the very end of our meeting, we start to put together certain interventions that may help out that student in the classroom. And one thing that we worked hard on last year, we worked a lot with Mark Tompkins, and he helped provide us with a lot of research-based strategies from Robert Marzano in particular. And we use this as a guide for a lot of our meetings. But frankly, a decent portion of our interventions come from the discussions we have with our team at the table. Additionally, what's next after those interventions, we're going to progress monitor. We're going to keep track of how that student is doing, whether it's with the behavior or the academics, and then we have the opportunity to come back to the table and revisit. This is an example of our data sheet where we collect all our information. And as I mentioned earlier, it's divided up in these categories where we put all the information specifically from the teacher's form that was sent to me. We input all that information on this. We add additional talking points that was discussed during our meeting on this, and we push this out to the whole team member, the teacher, the parent is also a partner in this whole process, is kept in the loop and sees this as well. Who is on our team? We got a pretty diverse group of individuals, myself, Casey Macbeth, our instructional coach, April Lee, our counselor, Allie Kiles, our behavior interventionist, Melissa Pristine, our music teacher, Kara Barrett, a special education teacher, and the general education teacher. So far this year, we've done 11 child studies. We have 2 more scheduled, and right now I want to just focus on 3 that we've already done this year and kind of go through that process. Now, it's kind of hard to read from that standpoint, but this first one is a 2nd grade girl, and at Ottawa she had some problems with keeping her hands to herself. And we saw that early on in the school year, and the classroom teacher brought her to the team on November 30th because we were having quite a few behavior referrals, a lot of conversations with parents about the hitting, the physical aggression. And a couple things that we talked about during this meeting was starting a check-in and check-out process with myself and with Ms. Kiles, our behavior interventionist. And I can tell you to this day, for the past 3-4 months, she comes in every day to my office and we will fill out this daily check-in, check-out sheet, this fancy looking form down here. Okay, and she right away tells me her morning mood, and she is on a roll because she has circled this very happy face every morning when she comes in. So I check in with her and we go over her goal. And her goal is I will keep my hands and body to self and use appropriate language. And we just talk about her day and how her morning went, what she did last night, just developing that positive relationship with her. And then in the afternoon, her classroom teacher, Ms. Staup, will give Allie Kiles, our behavior interventionist, the checkout person, some feedback on how the day went. And I can tell you it's been going phenomenally with her. As you can see up here, there's been 0 incidents of physical aggression since our meeting. Wow. 0. That's great. And I think the big thing is that she knows that people are advocating for her and people are looking out for her, and she knows that. She did have 2 incidents of inappropriate language since that, so that's why we added in, and I will use appropriate language. So she's also been doing a better job there too. But we're very proud of this student for the progress that she's made. Okay. Our second student is a 3rd grade student, and he was sent to our team due to low reading scores. In the fall, his 2nd grade year, he was at the 1st percentile. At the fall of his 3rd grade year, he was at the 4th percentile. Okay, so what can we do to help out this 3rd grade student? We identified early on in that meeting that he had a positive relationship with Mrs. Gregory, his 2nd grade teacher from last year. So Mrs. Teshka and Mrs. Gregory established something where this student would go to Miss Gregory's room for 40 minutes a day getting 2nd grade skill work, specifically in the area of phonics and foundations. It kind of centered around that time period. I asked Ms. Teshka before, a couple weeks ago, because we saw great gains. Okay, if we're talking 1% as a 2nd grader and 4 percentile, according to the NWA, as a 3rd grader, we got a 21-point overall gain, 16 percentile NWA reading score winter. I asked Ms. Teshka what was the secret, and she said, to be honest with you, Mike, it was the skill work that he was doing with Miss Gregory, 40 minutes a day, between 6 to 8 weeks he was doing that. So that's another thing that we're proud of, that progress there. Our third student we want to talk about is another second grade student. We've had 2 meetings on him, and his initial meeting was in September. And again, we had low reading scores. In the fall, his reading, he was in the 1st percentile for reading. In the winter, he was in the 3rd percentile for reading. In that first meeting in September, we discovered that he needed some help in the organizational category. So our behavior interventionist, Allie Kiles, made a morning checklist and also a mailbox where he could kind of keep things organized. That was kind of hot and cold, and when we revisited in January, we found that didn't have a tremendous impact. What we wanted to do is, in that second meeting, we saw that his math skills were above where his reading skills. We saw that as a strength. So we read the NWEA to him, okay, after he took it the first time in the winter. We read it a second time to see what would that score look like if we read directions and the story problems verbatim to him. We saw that the math score went up from, in the winter, it was in the single digits, and after we read it to him, it went up to a 24th percentile. So we see some type of strength there. We see that there's some skill development in the math department. So at that point, we decided, since this is our second meeting, that we, and we talked with parents, and a recommendation for special education has taken place. So he is currently under evaluation. So yeah, this is just a little bit under evaluation and for specific learning disability in reading, and that move up to the 24th percentile in math. So those are our 3 case studies, and we're proud of the progress that our students are making, and I just want to thank you for giving me the time today to showcase what we're doing at Moccasin. So.
How does the nomination, sort of, I don't know if that's the right word, but the nomination process work for, like, when you guys have whoever the next student is or the next particular person that you're meeting about, how does that person get introduced to the team and you guys start this process?
Usually it starts off as a conversation between the classroom teacher and myself. The staff knows about the MTSS process. And when they see a student struggling, they'll come to me. I'll give them that form, and they'll fill it out, and I'll put them on the next available day that it's open. For example, we have another one on Thursday, this coming Thursday, and that teacher recommended that student last week. She filled out the form, and I put that student on.
So as you get more students, or like in these 3 specific case studies as examples, do you continue those same interventions? Like the one that stands out to me that you said was you guys pinpointed the specific intervention of Mrs. Gregory working for 40 minutes a day on those particular skills with that student for 6 to 8 weeks. Do you guys then continue that until, like, just continue to see growth in with that same student in that same area?
When possible. We have not continued that student working with Ms. Gregory. We want him. He was missing some time in math class, so we want to keep him, up to date with those math skills, 3rd grade math skills. But the answer is yes, as much as possible. We try to keep those interventions going. For example, the student who had the check-in, check-out, that started on December 1st, and we're still going with that today. Some of them fade a little bit, and that's why it's important, to come back and do a revisit and say, okay, is this working? Because sometimes, to be honest with you, the intervention, it's a great idea at the moment, but kind of, fades a little bit. So it's important to come back and revisit and look at that intervention and see if we need to revise it.
And this is the first year you guys have put this name to this process?
This is year 2.
Year 2. So
Yeah.
how many students would you, like roughly how many students have you guys done this process with at this point?
I would say we were full steam ahead about mid-year last year, and we did quite a few, probably about a dozen. So I would say we're about 25 since mid last year.
Because I guess that's my question, or how do you guys maintain, as you keep adding students to this, how do the earlier ones, or the ones, how do you keep them going, so like you said, so they don't kind of run out of steam and regress back to where they were before they started the process, or moving backwards?
Right. That form is saved in a drive, and then like for our second grade kids, the third grade teachers will get that. And that helps them to start off the year.
Gotcha.
And then they can always bring them back to the table.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you
Good
for all
job.
your hard work.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. We are moving on to Section I, Information Reports, New Business. So first up, Facilities Planning Committee, February 28th meeting.
Are you gonna do
Yeah,
it?
sure.
Okay, sorry.
I was just
I
wondering why
didn't even
everybody
think
was looking
about
this
it.
way.
Thanks, Chris.
The Facilities Committee met on February 28th, and that was Ruth, Kelly, myself from the board, Trish, Carrie, Phil, and Mark from the district. We had a roof DNA done, and Mark presented the information on that to see where our roofs are at. They're bad. I don't think they're quite as bad as we thought they might be, but they're still bad. And so we're looking to prioritize that, get some information back on that, and see about starting to make sure that we don't have water in the buildings anymore in the future. We consistently go through the capital project sheet, just popping in and out of that with all the list. Phil presented on PA systems and the need for upgrades, at least in some buildings, at some point in the fairly near future, maybe a 5-year plan. So leadership is going to come back with what that may look like as far as functionality, where it may cross between all the buildings. We have some auditorium upgrades happening. 1/3 is, I think the electric's done. There's another piece happening over spring break, and then maybe a third over spring break or the summer for projectors and different things. And then we are looking at a possible facility study, which will tie into a meeting next week for that committee. I think that's it.
Good.
I did notice all the lights are working here for the first time in like forever. So something's going right. Thank you, Mark.
I wouldn't want to change them.
All right, next up we have, I guess, is there any more questions or anything on that? Observations? All right, Human Resources Committee, we met on March 6th, and that meeting was myself, Ruth, Trish, and Carrie. And I don't think Kelly was able to make it that time. Okay. We discussed the resignations and retirements, open positions and new hires. And then kind of an update on things that are already in process as we've met on in previous meetings. And the the new hires and the retirements are on the agenda or the consent agenda that's coming up, so. It was a fairly short meeting, which we don't have too often. Next up, that's me, is the Parent Advisory Committee.
Yep. And so the Parent Advisory Committee, we met on March 12th. Kelly attended that meeting with me along with several of our parents. There were updates from our fundraising group, and that is the group that is working on the foundation project. And then we received an update from our, we call it Safe Environments Group. And so that group is working on really building a positive activities and projects with students in the classrooms and within the schools. One of the things that we are working on, we're trying to create a kind of a general notification letter to families when things may happen in the classroom, so we're still working on that. There's a lot of work in progress. Just lots of ideas, too, from maybe starting a student advisory committee, just like the parent advisory committee, getting our younger students more involved with it, trying to figure out ways to do that. The other thing, there was one that we had a nice discussion about. There's a lot of parents there who have younger kids and they really don't know everything that happens or things that are available at the middle school or at the high school. So how do we open up our buildings to those younger families that haven't even been in the middle school or haven't been in the high school, to kind of, maybe it's like some sort of fair. So we're still thinking on how do we do that, kind of bringing alive our middle school and high school projects and programs that kids could have to look forward to coming up through Buchanan. So that's pretty much it. Anything else? No.
I was just going to share that with current events and local events that we've had around us, it did bring up some discussion on our policies and procedures, and just know that as the Parent Advisory Committee, but also Trish, there were some things like concerns brought up by parents, and just know that we do review. I think a lot of districts review stuff when things happen and make sure that, they're ready to go if something happens. Everybody has plans and procedures and policies. So when something, negative happens or just false or scary or whatever, just know that we take it upon ourselves to then review what we are doing in our district. So don't think it doesn't go unnoticed, or that was a topic that was brought up to what do we do? And so we did get some good time to share some of those concerns. But my thought, and why I'm sharing it now, is they're not the only ones that have those concerns. A lot of parents will have those concerns. So to reach out and making sure that we are messaging, that is one of our goals as the Parent Advisory Committee, is making sure that everyone is aware and knows how to find information, making sure they are getting the information. And then that goes to a meeting that we went and attended for the whole district, the whole county. They're trying to make sure that people are getting proper information, and how are they going to get that to all districts. So it is always on the table for making sure people are messaging and sharing the proper information out. So just know we are always working on that.
Good, thank you. Any other questions or anything? All right, our next section is public comment, and I don't think we have any comment cards. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to.
Can I just add something about the last thing real quick? The student advisory idea, whoever came up with that, I think that sounds like it has a lot of potential, especially if the students are motivated to be part of that. They probably have something, worthwhile and meaningful to add.
Yes.
And that's, at every level, really, even down to the elementary levels. I'm sure we could learn a lot about our schools by involving them a little bit more in the feedback. So, anyways.
And that was what was brought up.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
It was.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, that would be.
We can sit here and think all day about stuff that kids
Right.
want and need, but they really should be
Now,
involved
they're going
in
to give
the
us
process.
97
Yeah.
ridiculous things, right?
Yeah.
But if there's 3 gems,
Good
then
ones,
you're like,
yeah.
okay, let's really hit on those. But I'm sure the parents do the same thing. so
Yeah.
We're just as guilty.
All right, next up is K, adoption of consent agenda items.
I make a motion, the Board of Education approves the consent agenda for the regular board meeting of March 18, 2024 be adopted as written, including minutes from the 2/15/2024 regular meeting, 2/15/2024 closed session meeting, 2/20/2024 regular meeting, the warrants, the treasury and expenditure reports for February 2024. Number 3, the retirement of 2 staff members, Brenda Hill, a 4th grade teacher with 28 years of service, it's amazing, and Laura Morris, the payroll coordinator, 24 years of service, also amazing. Extracurricular assignments for 2023-2024 for Jessica Monsma and Jordan Lynch. Number 5, the recommendations to hire is submitted for James DiCarlo as a custodian, Heather Sprague as a paraprofessional at Ottawa, Tammy Regglesworth, payroll and accounts payable clerk. Number 6, the coaching recommendations for the 2023-2024 school year submitted for John O'Brien, the varsity softball assistant coach at Class 6, Step 5. Robert Beckvar, varsity baseball assistant coach, Class 6, Step 2. And William Perry Wallstrom, the JV baseball head coach, Class 5, Step 1. And we also have an employee departure, Valerie Phillips, bus driver, whose wages will be terminated on March 4th, 2024.
Support. All right, roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Oh, and we want to mention Tammy's here.
Oh, and Tammy's here, thank you.
Welcome.
Our new staff.
All right, next up, we have our, we'll call them our action items. So our first up is the BVA graduation certificate.
I move upon satisfactory completion of district requirements for high school graduation, the Board of Education hereby approves Buchanan Virtual Academy students Abadai Ahmed and Amanique Jordan.
Support.
And roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Congratulations.
All right, next up, we have item crowdfunding.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education approves crowdfunding for the following: Buchanan Music Department Vertical Razor Fundraiser and Lauren Hendrick Play, P-L-A-Y, Project.
Support.
And roll call. Or any additional information.
Yeah. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Ms. Berry?
Yes. All right. Item number 3. It's a request to relinquish funds.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education relinquishes the following federal funds for the 2023-2024 school year. Title III, Part A, Immigrant Students. Title III, Part A, English Learners.
Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. And I've realized I've forgotten the discussion part.
It's
most of these, so remind me.
It's
that
kind of
we need
what
to do
we're
that.
waiting on, but it's okay.
Item 4,
I don't think there's much
the
there.
2024 First Robotics Competition Overnight Student Trip.
I make a motion, the Buchanan Board of Education approves the robotics team trip to Kentwood, Michigan for the purposes of the 2024 first robotic competition. The robotics team is expected to depart March 28th, 2024, and return March 30th, 2024, in accordance with Board Policy Number 2340. This robotics team's trip will be under the supervision of Mr. Phil Place.
Support.
Phil Place.
Congratulations on their wins, and, this is awesome. I'm going to say more about that in board comments.
Great. Any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. All right, we have the 2024-2025 school district calendar.
I make a motion the Buchanan Board of Education approves the 2024-2025 school calendar recommended by the Board, Buchanan Education Association President Tom Brinks and Superintendent Robinson.
Support.
Any discussion? Anything to add on that?
Are there any major changes?
No, we pretty much kept it the same, kind of in the same pattern as we did this year, where we have some 4-day weekends.
That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. All right, next up, number 6, operations, custodial, and maintenance employee handbook.
Move the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education approves the operations, custodial, and maintenance employee handbook.
Support.
Any discussion?
Jenny, right? Okay.
Anything to add on that?
Takes a lot of work.
It is. It's nice to
Thank
see
you.
it all documented there. The links make it better, so you can not have to continually update it. Just update the link.
Yep.
And there may be some updates with this, with the transition, moving into trim policies, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Roll call?
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Ms. Berry?
Yes. All right, next up, we have the donation approval over $1,000.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education approve the following donation to assist Buchanan Community Schools Megahertz Robotics Program from the Huizinga Family Foundation, $3,000, and thank you so much.
Yes. Support, just so you know.
Any additional information on that? Any questions?
Thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. All right, and finally, we have a logo on school equipment and donation acceptance.
I make a motion the Buchanan Board of Education approves the use of Front Street Real Estate Services logo and Jason Stroud Team Real Estate logo to be placed on a track and field outdoor tent that will be donated to Buchanan Community Schools.
Support.
Any discussion on that one?
Another generous donation from a alum. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I know they've been without for a couple seasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Roll call?
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. All right, questions and comments from the board?
I have a couple.
Yeah, I have one.
The original high school from 1871, which is back here, will be one of the featured exhibits at the Berrien County Historical Association's A is for Architecture, an interactive look at Berrien County's historic buildings. The exhibit will run from April 10th until the 4th of July. Our original ornate high school, part of which still stands behind our current high school. The steps in that first class photo from, I think, 1877 is in the hallway there, in the main hallway. Ironically, part of that 1871 building is currently used for our most modern technology. So the Berrien County County's historic buildings would appreciate our attendance at some point during that time. I have a second one, an observation. Sitting here tonight, I look at all of the positive things that Buchanan offers. We've heard about our technology, our ELA, our robotics, Phil. We have the band program is just doing gangbusters. We have reading at our elementary schools, yay. We have exhibited tonight the public speaking ability of our students, and soon we're going to have students in Washington, D.C. All of these are so amazing, and it doesn't matter what you're involved in, whether it's sports or politics or this or that and the other thing. We offer so much at this school, and we provide well-rounded opportunities that instill confidence. And I applaud each and every member of this staff for having these opportunities for our students.
Yes.
Well, and to go along with that, I will say, for the first time ever, our band program will be going to state festival. They earned that because they earned a 1 at regional festival, and our band program has decided that that's something that we should give those students the opportunity to do. So I know that's coming up in April, and so we should really, as Mrs. Ryder mentioned, that's a fantastic step forward. That program is continually growing, and it's exciting.
I just want to share that Plow Day will be April 20th this year, and 8 o'clock is when pancake breakfasts start, and that's from 8 to 11, and then plowing starts from, I think, 10 or 11. I didn't write that down, sorry. And then lunch is like noon, plowing's from 10 till 2 o'clock, and then lunch at the Sugar Shack is around like 11:30-ish. And there is so much, we have so many different vendors in our, from the community that come out. Mr. Babcock, are you going to serve? All right, he's flipping pancakes. So if anybody wants to join us, we would greatly appreciate your attendance and any donations and stuff, but come out and enjoy. Hopefully have great weather.
Are Mrs. Kratky and Mrs. Luke going to be at that, if that PBS project?
So they are aware of it. Miss Monica is on our board now.
Oh, right.
So she's pushing that. So, but we will double make sure that they are there getting their footage.
I just want to say, Mrs. Barry, you said that was your first time. It could have been your 1,000th, and we wouldn't have known. Great job.
Yeah.
Well, funny you should say that, because I think I have a correction, because I think I missed a point of pride for the robotics megahertz team. Did we talk about that?
Yes, we did. Didn't we? Oh, no, we didn't.
No, you skipped it.
Sorry.
And
I skipped
actually, talking to Phil before the meeting, he wanted to delay it at least a month, and students will be able to attend.
Awesome, okay. So
So
it was
just cross that
intentional.
off.
Yes,
I
it
missed
was
it
intentional.
intentionally.
Well done, well done.
Good job.
I have two kids.
You have to.
She's got a subliminal mind now.
We'll talk about it in our May meeting during our end-of-year celebration, but they are on the agenda tonight. Thank you to Brenda Helmhill and Laura Morris, who are both retiring this year after 2 decades of service.
Yes.
And we will certainly honor them later. And then I've got one more. Mr. Pruitt got a note this week that was shared with the staff, and then I know this gal personally, so it got shared with me. 2018 graduate Morgan Lennox is being honored by Western Michigan University. She received their 2024 Presidential Scholar Award, which is the highest academic honor that Western gives out. And ironically, she is going into special ed teaching. So congratulations to Morgan, and just an example of alumni doing great things that start here.
And that's what I was gonna kind of finish with. It's great to see alumni coming back. It's amazing when I see my alumni retiring, but it's just incredible. We are a welcoming place.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Mrs. Ryder, you can't walk through like a semi-crowded grocery store without running into one of your alumni, right? So,
Yeah.
Never.
I can't go anywhere in Berrien County.
Quickly.
All right, anything else? We will, our next meeting is April 15th at 6 PM. And I think we are adjourned at 7:11.